In an old part of the city, there was a house known as House Number 25. People remembered this house for only one reason. No one ever stayed there on Christmas night, and those who did were never the same again. On ordinary days, the house looked completely normal. But every year, on the night of December 25th, its windows glowed with light, even though no one lived there. That year, a new family moved in: Mark Jones, his wife Emily, and their 7-year-old son, Ryan. The property dealer hesitated before handing over the keys and warned them not to stay in the house on Christmas night. Everything else, he said, was fine. Mark laughed and brushed it off, saying he didn't believe in fairy tales. On Christmas Eve, Emily was baking a cake in the kitchen while Ryan decorated the Christmas tree. Without looking up, Ryan suddenly said that Santa Claus had told him he would come to the house the next night. Emily smiled and played along, asking him what Santa looked like. Ryan slowly turned toward her and said Santa was not wearing red clothes and that his face was burned. At that moment, a sharp burnt smell filled the kitchen, even though the cake was not burned. Emily felt a strange chill, but tried to ignore it. When the clock struck 12 a.m. on December 25th, all the lights in the house went out at the same time. Before Mark could reach the switch, the sound of jingle bells echoed through the house. The sound wasn't coming from outside, it was coming from the attic. Mark picked up a flashlight and went upstairs. The attic door was already open. Inside, there stood a large Christmas tree, even though no one in the family had placed one there. Beneath the tree was a gift box with a note that read, "From Santa, for Ryan." Mark opened the box and found a small bell inside. It was identical to the sound they had been hearing. As soon as he touched it, the bell began ringing on its own. Ryan stepped closer and quietly said that Santa was telling him they were only guests in the house. When Emily asked who the house belonged to, Ryan raised his finger and pointed toward the dark corner of the attic, saying it belonged to those who had been burned to death there on Christmas night. Suddenly, burned handprints appeared across the walls. The temperature dropped so low that their breath turned into white mist. From the shadows, a figure slowly emerged. It wore a red coat, but the fabric was charred and torn. Its face was half melted, and its eyes were completely black. The figure spoke in a deep, echoing voice, saying it was not Santa, but the one who had been burned alive for children on Christmas night. Emily suddenly remembered what she had once heard about the house. Years ago, it had been an orphanage. On Christmas night, a fire had broken out, killing 12 children. People said that someone dressed as Santa had been trapped inside during the fire. The burned spirit said that every Christmas it needed one family, and if it didn't get one, it would let no one live. The doors slammed shut, and cracks shaped like crosses spread across the windows. Mark grabbed Ryan and tried to run, but the house seemed to close in around them. At that moment, Ryan rang the bell as hard as he could. Everything froze. The burned figure began to melt, screaming that the rule had been broken. By morning, the house looked completely normal again. Neighbors and police officers arrived, confused by the family's story. The only thing found in the attic was a single gift box. Written on it were the words, "Next Christmas, new family." Ryan never spoke much about that night again, but every Christmas, exactly at midnight, he could still hear the soft ringing of bells.